Welcome to the Self-Love Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Melanie Monaco, and I hold certifications in intuitive eating, integrative nutrition, feminine energy healing, yoga, and more. My mission is simple: to help women transform their bodies and lives with self-love. I've worked with women all over the world and learned a lot along the way, and I am so excited to share it all with you here. This is a wellness-centric, motivational, and transformational podcast that will give you the tools you need to cultivate more self-love through nutrition, movement, mindset, personal development, spirituality, and beyond. I'm so grateful to have you here. Now let's do this. Hey friends, on today's podcast, I have my best friend, Katrina Mattson, with me. We talk all about motivation, about our history of yo-yo dieting and how we've gotten out of that. And then we also talk about our favorite tips for eating healthy on a budget and where to shop the best produce. In order to make this information as easy for you to remember as possible, I've made you a cheat sheet so you can download the Eating Clean on a Budget Cheap Eats Cheat Sheet on my website at melaniemonaco.com/cheat sheet. That's melaniemonaco.com/cheat sheet. Enjoy.
I'm so full from all those cookies that I just ate.
Yeah. I'm recording now.
Oh.
I think that's the perfect introduction now.
So true.
Okay, welcome to the Self-Love Lifestyle Podcast. I have my best friend in the whole world, Katrina Mattson, with me. She is a goddess among us all. She is also an actor and writer and used to do a lot of Krav Maga.
Yes.
And you also teach Hebrew.
Yes.
What else do you do?
Some casual real estate.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's it.
Well, the reason why I'm having you on the podcast is because I feel that we've gone through a lot of, wellness journeying together.
Totally.
Side by side.
Totally. Melanie and I used to live together.
A lot.
It's true. We lived together a lot.
No, I'm seriously, when we lived together, I feel like we spent, every minute of every single day together.
Yeah, man, look, when you're young and you live with your friends, it's like a built-in, I don't have to be friends with anyone else thing. It's like a social anxiety buffer, because you already have one person that you know will, tag along to almost everything.
That's true, and I also think that we're similar in that, I'm very much a, small gathering kind of person. I like being in situations with other people where it's, a small group.
Totally.
And so...
I like to talk about, deep things with people. I don't like to have surface conversations with a huge amount of people, so it worked out.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that there was quite a lot of, journey to wellness when we were living together in London.
Yeah. We studied abroad in London, so for those of you that don't know, in my high school and college years, I was very focused on the performing arts, and I found a lot of joy in that space, and Katrina still does.
I do. I do still love it.
Yeah, and we went to theater school in London together.
Mm-hmm. And while we were there, I really think back on it and think that I spent all my money the first semester on food.
Yeah.
And I don't mean I went out to eat so much. I just mean that I sort of consumed everything in excess. Mm-hmm. And that mostly from grocery stores, though. It was honestly hilarious, the amount of money that we spent at grocery stores.
I know. Well, Katrina, and I don't know if anybody who's listening to this can relate, but Katrina and I will go hang out together at Whole Foods.
Totally,
that's our destination.
Obviously. Oh my God. Sam, when he was trying to woo me as the best friend of his future wife, took me, he was like, I'll take you out to lunch. Where do you want to go? And I was like, Whole Foods.
That's true. You met my what would be my future husband.
Yeah.
At Whole Foods.
At Whole Foods. It was great. Whole Foods in New York has bars in it and
all
tasting
over.
Of everything. I don't know that that's true of
They do in Portland, Maine.
Okay, well, I just don't know if the non-East Coast.
Got it. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about London and how I remember, like, coming back from class, and I would drink, like, half a bottle of port.
Yes. It was a long period of time when Melanie didn't know that port had a different alcohol per volume content than wine. If you don't know, port is a dessert wine that is meant to be consumed in extremely small quantities.
But we'd also get, like, the big Cadbury bars.
Yes, there are these massive Cadbury bars that were only 2
Chocolate
pounds.
Bars.
Yeah. And they were, I don't know how many people they were meant to serve, like 15? And I would eat an entire one. Melanie would sit there drinking like half a bottle of port, and I would eat an entire Cadbury bar.
Yeah.
And like that was our first semester of London.
I also want to mention that I recently had a like memory flashback to one time Katrina and I were in college together, and we went and got burgers from a local burger place. We got veggie burgers. We're both vegetarian. And we ate so much that we literally had to stop. Like, it's a 10-minute walk away from our dorms. We had to stop multiple times to just, like, breathe. We, like, could not walk. We were too full.
Yes, I don't remember this at all, but I fully believe that it was a thing that happened, and honestly probably happened more than once.
Yeah. But I also, so during all of this time when we were living together and spending so much time together in college, I do think that both of us went through a lot of periods of trying to be really, really healthy and like
it was a really
up and down. It was yo-yoing.
Yeah, it was
we both, I think, yo-yo
yo-yo.
dieted a lot.
I don't even think that it was necessarily like a yo-yo diet. I think it was like a whole, I mean, maybe that's just like a better way to easily talk about it, but it was like, if you look at London, you know, we spent like 3 months indulging in absolutely whatever we wanted, and then we spent 3 months really not and eating kale and going to the gym all the time.
That's true. I mean, technically,
but like I don't know that that's
diet.
like right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know that it counts as like a yo-yo diet, but it was like a whole yo-yo lifestyle of like a few months like this, a few months like this, a few months like this.
I think clinically that's still considered like diet cycling.
Right.
So I'm sure that people listening to this, if they're listening to my podcast, can relate to that. So now we're both in very different places than we were then. And I'm curious as to what your journey has been since that area of our lives. And, like, do you feel you've managed to, like, move past that, or do you still go through cycles?
I think I still go through it a lot. I think I've, like, sort of leveled up into a new period of my life where the yo-yoing is not as extreme.
Yeah.
But I would say I still go through, like, a week like this and a week like that, and like a week where I feel okay doing something and a week where I feel like that's really not okay. Yeah, but I have found a very better. I found a better overall quality of life than that, which I think honestly I point that back to, like, when I started to do Krav Maga, and it was so helpful for me, both in terms of, like, releasing a lot of, like, aggression that I have, and also in terms of, like, it was so expensive to join this Krav Maga place, and I was like, the only way that I can make this, like, worth it in terms of my money is if I go all the time. There's so many classes offered every day, I should really try and be going, like, 5 to 7 times a week. And so I started to, like, put it into my routine a lot more to, like, carve out an hour for exercise. And I would say that I do not go to the gym as often as I went to Krav Maga, but it has become a much more accepted part of my life that, like, I get this time, and that time has become more and more sacred to me, has become more and more a part of my stress relief, has really been very helpful, and I think that that has been like a lifestyle change that has helped control a little bit of the level of yo-yo that happens.
I think that you have always had a really healthy relationship to movement and exercise, and what I see a lot in the women that I work with, they they look at exercise as like a punishment for how they're eating. But I've not really seen you exhibit that kind of thought pattern. You Katrina and I used to do Zumba a lot.
I still do Zumba. I love Zumba.
The problem is I taught it so much that I got burnt out.
Totally.
But Katrina and I, before I was a Zumba instructor, we used to go to Zumba a lot. And Katrina, for the first 30 minutes solid, would just be smiling so much. You just really enjoy working out. And you were just telling me about your personal training session.
Yeah. Yeah, my personal trainer for this, I went to one personal training session, and she was, so freaked out by the fact that I continuously was smiling and was, having a good time. She was like, I'm pushing you pretty hard here, but you're still smiling, and it's weird.
Yeah. What do you think... where does that come from, and how have you managed to have such a healthy relationship with movement and exercise, even though both of us have, gone through these cycles of lifestyle patterns?
I actually think it's a really common human thing to get a lot of enjoyment out of movement. I think that's, that taps into, the more animalistic side of us as humans. And I think that as our society has developed, we've sort of put on these thoughts of this is a punishment, or this is bad, or I don't want to do this, or I don't have time for it, or all these various things that we think. But I feel like I get such a high from it, and I feel so I feel so relieved after I've done it. I feel so calm. I feel so excited about my day. I feel like I've accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
Even if that becomes the only thing that I do that day, it still makes me feel oh wow, I really did something today.
Yeah. So you focus on how it makes you feel rather than how it is meant to make you look.
Yeah. Yeah, because the other day I went to Zumba. And first of all, I love Zumba. Let me just get that out of the way. I think Zumba's amazing. I think it's brilliant. And I think that the fact that it's their log line is ditch the workout, join the party, right?
Yeah.
So instructors very often will be everyone smile, have a good time. And I was always yeah, okay. I was always down for the party. And so the other day when I went to a specific instructor who has a very choreography heavy, very dance based routine, and not that much of a fitness routine. And it's just if you let yourself really dance, if you let yourself accept the fact that nobody else is looking at you and they're all looking at themselves in the mirror. Everybody's just trying to do the choreography the best that they can. And you let yourself feel the pure joy of dancing and music, then it's sort of hard to not have a good time. And
yeah. Well, you also don't I find that the exercise that you're drawn to, it's Zumba and Krav Maga. That's a very communal thing.
It is.
They're classes, whereas I obviously teach classes, and I love the act of teaching. Probably because of my background in the performing arts. But I find that when I work out, I much prefer to go to the gym by myself, or
really?
Practice yoga by myself. I don't love going to yoga classes. I love doing yoga in my apartment.
Oh, that's shocking. I won't do it if I'm not in a class. That's actually yeah, that's a big thing. And that was a big thing that I had to sort of accept and realize, is that unless I want to go for a run, there's nothing that I want to do by myself. I always want to be in it with other people.
Well, I think it's really important to discover those things about yourself.
Yeah.
Whether you're like me and you prefer the solitary experience and connecting to your body in that way, or you prefer the communal experience and expressing your body. Mm-hmm. I think you have to figure out which one you vibe with the most. And when you do, then that'll allow you to reinvent your relationship to exercise.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about motivation.
Okay.
Because, Katrina, the reason why I invited Katrina in the podcast really was that we were hanging out yesterday. And I was talking about one of my group coaching programs that I have going on, and I was expressing to Katrina that, you know, it's so interesting for me to witness who shows up and does the work and is like at all of the calls and posting in the group and who doesn't. And I always wonder whether or not I'm in a program, because I've done so many coaching programs, whether it's for health or business or whatever, or I'm doing the program, like hosting the program. I'm always so shocked to see people not showing up, because I've paid so much money for like business coaching programs, for example, and then I'm like the only one in the room. And I'm like, what? Like, how have you wasted your money? Like, why don't you want to show up for yourself? However, I was talking about this to Katrina, and she was like, oh no, I totally get that. So can you enlighten me as to what that experience is like?
Absolutely. So I would say that everybody's different. But for me personally, what very often happens when I feel like I'm signing up for this thing and it's going to make me fill in the blank better. It's going to make me healthier. It's going to make me stronger. It's going to make me just anything. A better actor. It's going to, whatever. Actually, that's not true. I do always show up for the acting ones.
We should talk about the like difference between health and acting then. Eventually.
Yes, eventually. when I sign up for the things that are related to like myself or my body, or my like overall health, I think I'm the kind of person who gets very excited about it, and then if I manage to go to the first one, then that's great. But very often what happens in between sessions, because normally sessions are not every day, normally sessions are once a week or once a month or whatever, and what very often happens for me in between sessions is that there will be something that will make me feel like, oh, I've failed. And then showing up to something where you're supposed to be actively bettering yourself feels impossible, because I feel like, well, I know the truth and I've already failed because I haven't stuck to it every single moment of every single day. And I think that's it makes it therefore very easy to skip one. And if you skip one, you feel like, I can't go back. They know that I've skipped one. It becomes a very like vicious cycle of like, no.
Do you think that comes from, I mean, it's looking at things like a zero-sum game. Like, you're either all in or you're all out. There's no in between. Mm-hmm. Do you think that comes from a lack of motivation or a lack of self-worth, or, I mean, I guess, where do you think that comes from?
I think it comes from, like, probably, like, lack of self-worth and or, like, it's a self thing. It's a self issue, because it's not motivation. Obviously, I was motivated enough to sign up for it, and I was motivated enough to, like, maybe very often go to the first one or maybe the first two of these things. It's just that, like, when I feel that I've already made a mistake, already failed in some way, I feel like everybody will know it. Nobody else will have failed. Everyone will have been sticking to it completely. And they will all know that I had 3 pieces of pizza on the day that I said that I would have no pizza.
Okay, so it's like a comparison thing too.
Yeah, and I just don't think that it's almost has anything to do with motivation, because, like, I'm extremely motivated to do many, 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 many things in my life, but trying to, like, truly believe that I'm worth the change that I'm trying to bring on, trying to believe that I'm actually capable of the change that I'm trying to bring on, and trying to believe that other people will still love and respect me as I go through that change, and or will still love and respect me even if I say, you know what, it did not work out for me that one day or that one week. Those are the things that I think I struggle with.
So it's self-worth, and it's a fear of what other people will think, and it's also a lack of self-belief.
Yeah, but never in a conscious way.
Of course.
Right.
Yeah. Do you think that any of this comes from a place of thinking that it's going to be too hard and, like, giving up because it's starting to get hard?
Maybe, but if it does, I don't think that that's, don't think that that's a conscious thought. I think it's like, say I decide I'm gonna be completely plant-based for 30 days, and I'm not gonna have any dairy, and I already don't eat meat, but I'm not gonna have any dairy, and I'm not gonna have any eggs. And then one night, I, have a few drinks, get a slice of pizza. Happens to us all. Then it's not so much that I think, oh my God, I could never have made it through these 30 days. It's more just that I think, I've already failed. I made one mistake, and that means I've already failed.
I think this is something that a lot of people get caught up in, whether it's health, wellness, or any other goal or project.
Yeah.
And what I have my clients do is do the 80-20. 80% of the time you follow whatever plan you have for yourself, 20% of the time you live your life. And in terms of food, it's 80% of the time you nourish your body, 20% of the time you nourish your soul. I have a whole episode on this. It's episode 2 of this podcast. But do you think that, have you ever tried the 80-20 or tried that kind of mindset?
I try it fairly often. I would say that it gets hard for me to sort of keep that track in my mind of I'm within my 80% by doing this, or I'm within my 20% by doing this. I would say I'm a very tightrope walker kind of person, or top of the hill, top of the mountain range kind of walker, where it's I just feel I'll be walking along my lovely mountaintop, and that's the 80%, right? You're walking along,
yeah.
And then every so often I'll look off the edge, and that should just be, that's the 20% is a look off the edge. But instead I'm oh, let me look, and I lean over really far, and I tumble down, and then I go all the way down, and I sort of, the 20% becomes 100%, becomes a week-long thing, becomes a month-long thing, until I'm whoa, what am I doing? And I slog my way back up to the top of the mountain. Yeah.
I totally relate, and I think that was a beautiful analogy, by the way.
Thank you.
Wow. Gorgeous. I was visualizing the whole thing.
Thank you.
It was a great story.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah. I feel that in those situations where you're tumbling down, I think the tumble happens if you think that you're not allowed to tumble.
Right. And or if you think that you can't do one full somersault and then get back up and turn back around.
Yeah.
And you feel I've done this somersault, and I should just accept my fate, fall to the bottom of this mountain range.
Yeah. Do you think that there's anything you would share with our listeners about how to get back up?
I think the hard truth of it is just that you just have to. You just have to, whenever you feel I've stumbled, I've fallen, I've whatever, my 20% has become 30%, has become 40%, whatever that, however your brain thinks of it, you just have to always get back up to the top, get back up to where you feel good, the rhythm that you feel good in, and I will not say that I've mastered that, but I will say that I have now fallen so many times in my life that I have had enough practice of climbing my way back up, and I just think just have to create that practice for yourself. And I think a lot of wellness is creating a practice for yourself and creating, practices that make you feel happy and healthy.
Yeah.
And that's just, honestly, I think it's hard. I think it's a hard thing. And I just think that that's just one of the hard things about life. But I do know that I always feel better when I sort of return to where I know I'm happy and healthy, no matter how hard getting back to that point is.
Yeah. What I do with my clients, and, like, full disclosure, Katrina doesn't actually know very much about, I feel like you don't know that much about what I talk about with my clients. Like, do I tell you that much?
You're not sitting there spilling their, like, innermost secrets.
No, of course not.
I know that you have a
roadmap? A
roadmap, and I know that you have various programs.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know there's, like, a thing with, like, 7 months or something. Yeah. Okay. That's what I know.
Yeah, so I feel like Katrina doesn't actually, I feel like you don't know the ins and outs of my protocol, is what I'm saying.
No.
So I'm going to share some with you right now, and I want to hear your reactions and response.
Okay.
So, like, if you were my client right now, what I would tell you is that there's 2 tools you can return to when you're, like, in that pit. So you've fallen down off the mountain, you're in the pit. And it is really just about cultivating the tools. As you said, like, it's about the practice and just getting back up again. The roadmap is definitely one of them. And the first step of the roadmap is self-forgiveness. And then you move from self-forgiveness to self-acceptance and just accepting that you did the best you could with the information that you had, and that nobody is perfect. We're all perfectly imperfect, and that's part of being a human. And from there, you can pretty easily slide into self-gratitude. And I think gratitude is where everything changes, because a lot of people stop at self-acceptance. They're like, okay, I accept that my body will always be this way. I accept that I will never be able to get the diet right. I'm doing air quotes, you can't see. Quote, diet right. I accept that, you know, I can't control my body. I accept that I have no willpower. When in fact, those are just stories you're telling yourself. But it is important to move through that and to recognize that. And then when you move to gratitude, that's when things start to change. So self-gratitude is step number 3. From gratitude, once you start becoming grateful for your body, you start taking care of your body in a totally different way. So self-care is step number 4. And the more that you practice self-care, the more you'll develop body trust.
Guys, Melanie is, like, smiling so hard right now. She's so into this.
I love it. Well, no, it changes lives. Like,
I fully believe you.
And so self-trust is the game changer, and, like, practicing all these things is self-love. Okay, so that's the first thing I would say. You're making me, like, blush.
Sorry, it was just so, like, cute to watch.
Okay, no, I had another one. It has to come back to me now. Okay, so you're at the bottom of the hill. Self-forgiveness, I think, is the first step. And then also remembering why you even got on the hill to begin with. Like, you have to have the right kind of intention. And if your goal is to lose 10 pounds, that is not going to be as effective as your goal being to love yourself unconditionally. And they're 2 different things. And so, and I think this goes beautifully goes back and ties back to your relationship to exercise, and how, like, you remember your why is not, like, to look a certain way, though, like, Katrina and I both love to look good. Like,
yeah, sure.
Like, we're not going to, like, beat around the bush here, but we're also not, like, trying to look anything other than what we are. Yeah. And
for the most part, I would love it if at one point in my life I had, like, a full 6-pack. I don't know when that's going to be.
Yeah.
But, like, just before I die, you know.
Okay, yeah. But I feel like, you know, your relationship to exercise is so much about how you feel. Yeah. And so remembering that your why, if you're stuck at the bottom of the hill and you can't get to your Krav Maga class or Zumba class, being like, well, I'm not going because I'm not going because I need to go, because I promised anyone I would go, because I owe it to myself. I'm going so that I feel good. Yeah. Like, those are different things. Yeah. And rewiring the way you speak to yourself. Yeah. Is where that starts to change.
Yeah. I think that it's really easy for me to accept that part that you just said into my mind. But the other thing that you were saying, the part where my brain was like, nope, well, I can't, obviously, was when you said, like, that you have to, you know, I don't know if you said accept or something else in here, but you were like, you know, I did the best that I could.
With the information I had.
Right. And what my brain always hears every time somebody says something like, well, you did the best that you could, I'm always like, no, I didn't.
Ah, okay.
I could have done better if I were just stronger, if I were just, more willpower, if I were just more focused, I could have done better.
But you didn't, so you couldn't.
Yeah, I think that's just a thing that I have to work through.
No, I hear you. No, and I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for how honest you're being in this, because I think it's going to help a lot of people. Because it's easy for me at where I am in my journey, and I'm by no means, like, perfect in my relationship to my body and food, but I've come a serious long way. And a lot of that is through a lot of studying and a lot of emotional processing. So I think it's really valuable to have you on here where, like, we're just in different areas now.
Yeah.
And not that, like, you know, one is better or one is worse. It's just we're in different spaces, and I think it's so valuable to hear different thought patterns around these things because, yeah, when I hear you did the best you could with the information you had, I feel relieved. I'm like, yes, I did. You're right. But to hear that you're like, no, I didn't. It's really helpful. Okay, I think we've talked a lot about motivation. We've talked a lot about movement and exercise. The other thing that you bring to the table that I think my listeners and community will benefit from.
My sparkling personality.
Well, obviously.
I'm so sparkling that she had to laugh twice.
I did. Because I love her so much. Katrina was my maid of honor. Oh my God.
That's what I just thought too. When you were like, I love her so much, I was like, yeah.
I feel that you have done so much creative problem solving in your life with making sure that you're eating healthfully even if you don't have a Whole Foods budget.
100%. I would say I'm a friggin' master at this.
I think you're more of a master at it than I am by a long shot. This is something where, like, in health and wellness, Katrina beats me, like,
yes.
majorly in your knowledge and skill set about this. So, Katrina Mattson, what are your top tips for eating healthfully on a budget?
Okay. So, I would say, first of all, it depends on where you're living. Obviously, there are various places in the United States that have resources that New York does not, and there are various places in the United States that does not have the resources that New York does. So I am speaking from a New York City perspective, and I understand that that is somewhat restricted. But, that being said, my tips are these. Know your grocery stores and the things that they do well and the things that they do not do well. For example, and I will die on this hill, I really do not like to buy Trader Joe's produce. I really believe that, like, it's some of the cheapest produce out there, and that's amazing. But when you count how long the Trader Joe's produce lasts versus produce from many, many, many other sources, Whole Foods, where's our Whole Foods, like, endorsement check?
I know, right? Not sponsored, but open to it.
So when you count how long the Trader Joe's produce lasts versus produce from other places, I find that you end up buying more Trader Joe's produce to equal the same amount of money that you would have spent on less produce.
Fair.
Because you have to throw it away. It just goes bad fast. Is that true for every Trader Joe's in the world? I have no idea. But it's true here. So when I go to Trader Joe's and shop their deals and things, I shop for anything that I need that's frozen berries. I would say knowing what your stores do well and what gets you the most bang for your buck is really, really, really important. Shopping bulk whenever you can is one of the most amazing things ever. I, the other day, bought 2 cups of steel-cut oatmeal for 87 cents. 2 cups of steel-cut oatmeal, once cooked, turns into 8 breakfasts at least.
Wait, where?
Whole Foods.
Oh, okay.
87 cents. So if you think Whole Foods is big dollar only, you have not been shopping their bulk section. And I do think that, like, bulk across the board is often an amazing deal. Bulk spices, if you ever are trying out a new recipe and you need some weird spice that you've never heard of before, try a grocery store that has a local, like, bulk section, and you can very often get, like, a teaspoon of it. You can measure out the exact amount that you need for that recipe, and then you aren't stuck buying a $5 or $10 spice that you might never use again. Another thing that I have recently really been enjoying, and I'm sure Melanie has already mentioned it on this podcast, is Misfits Market.
That's true. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I do mention it to all of my clients.
Okay, so once again, this is a service that I don't know that exists across the U.S., but it might. And it is basically, it's the Ugly Produce service. It sends you all this amazing organic produce at a very reduced rate because it is very often too big for the store. Sometimes it's too big, too small, too weirdly shaped, whatever. All the things that they couldn't sell to the grocery store, they sell to you. And those boxes, in full disclosure, full financial disclosure, those boxes cost $23. I get one every single week, and it lasts me the whole week, if not longer, and it is all of the produce that I need.
Yeah. Okay, if you want 30% off, I'm putting the link to Misfits Market below this podcast in the description. You can also DM me on Instagram at The Self Love Lifestyle for a link for 30% off Misfits Market.
Yes, it's an incredible resource.
Yeah.
I think my other biggest tip for being healthy on the cheap is that you sort of have to, when you do your shop, if you do your shop weekly or if you do your shop every 3 days or whatever you do, you then have to sort of stick to it. And so once you have that in your house, that's what you're eating for the next few days or whatever. You cannot go out and do a huge shop and then the next day be like, you know what, actually, I really wanted to make a Dutch baby and I don't have any of those ingredients, nor do I have a cast iron pan. Like, if you're trying to do stuff on the cheap, you just have to accept, like, for the next few days, this is what I have. And I have found that, like, that leads to less food waste, less money waste, leads to, like, less fridge clutter. It's, in general, a truly amazing thing. And I think those are my top tips for
those are great tips.
Being healthy on a budget.
Yeah. Katrina I feel like you're a master at, like, whipping together really inexpensive meals.
So true.
Like, I witnessed Katrina make a lot of, like, rice and bean dishes with, like, dry... Did you cook the beans, like, dry?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, because that's how they're cheapest. And then But, like, they were always so delicious. It wasn't just, like, plain rice and beans. Not that plain rice and beans aren't already delicious, but, like...
Plain rice and beans becomes much tastier if you add an onion and some garlic. And those are very, very cheap options to add in.
And sweet potato.
Onion, garlic. I love to add in sweet potato. I love to do black beans with sweet potato and, like, some spices, onions and garlic. I love to add, like, tomatoes in there if they're available. And, like, I add kale to almost everything. Superfoods. And also, to be fair, I just don't like lettuce. So when I want a, like, nice greenery thing. And kale, I find, stands up really well to a lot of things that you can throw at it. It'll stand up well in sauce. It'll stand up well in beans.
It's very robust.
It's a good veg.
My top tip for cheap eating or reducing food waste is to, if you are cooking your vegetables, don't be afraid to buy them frozen. Like, obviously you can't eat frozen vegetables to raw, it'll be weird. But if you're like gonna make a stew or something and you don't want to buy a whole head of broccoli because it only calls for half a head of broccoli, buy the frozen broccoli. It will likely be cheaper, especially in the organic section, and it doesn't go bad as quickly, and it's picked at its peak ripeness, so the frozen fruits and vegetables retain a lot of nutrient value that other fruits and vegetables might not. True.
I also just want to add, because we're in autumn at this moment, and it's about to sort of switch over into the sweater weather, soup weather type place, I just want to say my favorite kitchen investment that I've made was an immersion blender, and I use it to make, like, creamy soups. And I'll make dude, if you make soup, like, one pot of soup is like 16 bowls of soup. Yeah. It's crazy. And then you freeze that, and it lasts for forever.
Wow.
Not for forever. It lasts a long time.
A long time. I don't have an immersion blender.
Oh, love my immersion blender.
I do, like, a Vitamix, but personally, I don't really like smooth soups. I like stews. I'm a stew girl.
I like some of each, but, like, butternut squash soup, butternut turmeric soup is a staple for me every autumn. Yeah. And I make it with my immersion blender, and I freeze it. I still have one serving that's frozen.
Wow.
I'm gonna pull it out as soon as it gets cold.
From last year?
No, from a few weeks ago when they sent me a million squashes.
Oh, yeah. Got it. From Misfits Market.
Yes. Sent me too much squash, and I was like, I just have to make a soup.
So, Katrina, I feel like we've covered so much ground, and I'm wondering if you have any other tips about balancing your very hectic schedule as a working artist in New York City with your passion for taking care of yourself.
I would say just find your joy. The things that bring you joy in this life are the things that will keep you going. The things that will get you out of bed on the days when it is too cold or you are too sad or whatever. The things that make you smile on your best days are the things that will make you smile on your worst days. And I feel that as much as you can remember that they're there, that's good.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like you've offered a lot of wisdom today.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, thank you for coming on my podcast.
I've had an amazing time.
You're my first guest.
Ooh, so special, so special.
You are special. So all of you should follow Katrina Mattson, right? You have an artist page or something.
Follow me on Insta, NBD.
Yeah. What's your Instagram handle?
Katrina Mattson. Real hard to remember.
Okay, Katrina and I are gonna gush about each other and eat cookies now.
Oh my god, yeah, Mel made these amazing cookies. She can't give you the recipe because she made it up on the fly.
I did. They're like oatmeal apple with apples from Misfits Market.
They're baller.
Yeah. All right, friends, I love you, and I'll see you soon. Are you feeling stuck in a body you don't love? Or unable to find lasting motivation to maintain a healthy lifestyle? Or maybe you feel like you're constantly fighting against your body in order to transform how you look or feel. I know exactly how that goes, but to be honest, 95% of diets fail, and it's really not your fault. The problem is not the food that you're eating or the amount that you're exercising, but it's how you're relating to your body and food. And I'm here to share with you that there's a way for you to have the food that you love and a body you love without the dieting, over-exercising, or calorie counting, because that doesn't even work anyway. I've created a roadmap utilizing everything I've learned in my certifications from intuitive eating, integrative nutrition, energy healing, yoga, fitness, and more. And it's an intuitive wellness roadmap that's going to give you a personalized step-by-step approach to cultivating a body you love unconditionally and the freedom to eat without guilt. In a 30-minute video call with me, we're going to look at your goals not only for your body, but also your life. Because the truth is, you could eat only kale and exercise every single day, but if you're not nourished in all areas of your life, you're not going to be happy or healthy, right? So then we're going to uncover what's been holding you back from living the life of your dreams. We're going to look at the belief systems that are in place, the stories that you're telling yourself, and maybe even lingering ideas of who you think you should be that are detaching your self-worth. And I want to then give you a personalized step-by-step roadmap to becoming the happiest, healthiest, and most confident version of yourself so that you can live purposefully and in alignment with the best version of you. Through utilizing the proven strategies and tools from all my certifications, you're going to have a guide to reaching your goals, whatever they may be. If you want to tap into the power of intuitive wellness, discover how to effortlessly nourish your body and your soul, and cultivate a body you love unconditionally, then head to my website, melaniemonaco.com. That's MELANIEMONACO.com to book your free call now. I would love to chat with you soon, so make sure to hop on my calendar while there are still spots available. If you felt inspired or moved by what you heard today, then be sure to leave a rating and review. I would love to hear what you're vibing with so I can create more incredible content to help you transform your life with self-love. Be sure to connect with me on Instagram at The Self-Love Lifestyle, on Facebook at The Self-Love Lifestyle, and you can also sign up for my mailing list and find free downloads, resources, and more at melaniemonico.com. That's melaniemonico.com. And be sure to subscribe to the Self-Love Lifestyle podcast so you never miss an episode. I'll see you next week, my love.